Hello YouTube and welcome to the next instalment of the trailer build. So in today's video we're going to be fitting this lot onto the roof of the trailer. Now ideally I'd have liked to have done this outside, but the weather today is very British. I've basically done a dry run, like a mock-up on the bench of how it's all going to fit to make sure everything is indeed going to fit. I'll run you through that quickly now before we start chucking it onto the roof. So firstly, we're going to be bolting the awning to the roof of the trailer. The reason for this is because we want it as low as possible, so that is the awning rail is actually going to sit inside because it has two, so one is going to be sat in there and one is going to be sat in there. That's going to be bolted straight through and Sikaflexed, and also we've made some spreader plates just out of some scrap ply that I had lying around, and that's basically going to bolt on the underside and then have large metal washers on the inside of that, and that's just going to help spread the stress across the fiberglass. So thank you for whoever it was that pulled me up on that on the last build. We have made changes and adjustments. Every day is a school day. Then, once the awning is bolted on, we're going to bolt the UNISTRUT to the roof, and then from there everything bolts to the UNISTRUT. Again, we're going to be putting some really large spreader plates underneath to make sure the stress is minimized, to make sure the stress is minimized on the fiberglass. And then we'll go bolt through there into the UNISTRUT, and then we're going to be bolting these two solar panels together to save space, so we don't need to use as many brackets. And then it'll be bracketed here and at the other side, and then again bracket here and here. Obviously this was just a test run. It all fits, it's all going to look lovely, and it's going to look mean as hell up there. Just bolting these two panels together, what I've done is drilled one set of holes and then with a square taken that off that, just to make sure that when they go together the panels stay in line, and then just drilled them out again to get an M8 bolt in there just so it's a bit stronger. Right, so fitting these on now, obviously you're going to need to drill your holes wherever you want to drill them. So what we're going to do first is degrease the area to make sure we get a good adhesion. Then loosely drop in a couple of bolts so you know you're in the right place, and draw around it. Now what we're going to do is get Sikaflex and follow this border all the way around, and then also around each hole to make sure you get a good seal. Now if you're happy you've got a good seal up at the top, and go inside, put the spreader plates on and bolt it all down. Apologies for the bad lighting, but you can just see how the spreader plate, and then we've got the big square washers beyond that, and then a smaller washer just to make sure it pulls nice and tight. It's really hard to see that, and I've opened all the windows, but until we get lights in here I'll be able to show you that. So all we need to do now is repeat that on that side and the awning can go on. And then same again to put the UNISTRUT down, I'm going to degrease, Sikaflex, and then put that through, bolt and washer on the top, nut, washer and spreader plate on the underside, and do that all the way down both sides. Because we're running two separate pieces of UNISTRUT to get the length, it's always worth chucking a level down the back just to make sure that they are perfectly in line. Kyle, trying to film. Popping bubble wrap. So that's the UNISTRUT on and bolted into place. So now we just need to transfer that lot onto there. So once we've dry fitted this, we knew where to drill holes for the brackets for the solar panel. It's got more sag in the middle than I'd like it to have, like way too much, so I've ordered some more brackets to come, so hopefully they'll be in before the end of the video. And we're just going to put another Z bracket in here. Using the UNISTRUT means we can just get our fingers in there and wind the bolt down, and then hopefully get the small ratchet in there to tighten it up just to secure that up. But next, what we need to do now before the roof rack is fastened on is we need to put the solar gland there, and that is exactly the right height for the roof rack to press it down once it's been bonded onto the roof. So measure up, get that in and get the wires through. So that's the gland on. Now we're going to lift the roof rack back on, which is going to hold the gland in place so we don't have to put any weight on it. So Oh, Whiskers' mug. You get down, I don't want people to think you've done all the work. So originally we was going to drill through the frame and bolt direct to the Uni Strut, but we decided to, instead of drilling the frame and ruining the frame, these actually came with it to bolt it to roof racks. So I thought that is now a removable roof rack should you want to do anything else with it, i.e. more solar panels or a roof deck if you're really brave. So it just made it a bit more removable if needed. Mega pleased with how it's looking so far, so hopefully Amazon will be quick and get those brackets to us so we can take the sag out of the solar panel and get this one wrapped up. We've finally got some okay-ish weather. I managed to get it outside, but I'm really made up with how this has turned out. Got that extra bracket in there. I was never overly confident about that. I've seen people doing it. We tried even plating it right down the middle. Just nearly fell off my chair, but it still wasn't strong enough. So an extra bracket in there. That is solid now, and really chuffed with how that's turned out. I'm glad we decided to use the fixings that came with this to make the roof rack removable should you want to. That just, I think being able to utilise that space for other things should you want to is a good idea, and it comes off in literally 5 minutes. They just unbolt and drop off. I'm possibly going to cut those down, maybe even swap for some dome top bolts. It's just nice to have it quick release if needed. But yeah, the overall, that's another episode down. There's loads more to do on this trailer, and it's all got to be done ready for the International Campervan Show in June, which is now less than a month, and we haven't even started touching the inside. So we're going to be cutting this one close to the wire. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see the rest of the build. But that is all for this one. We'll see you in the next video.